Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Witty's Outdoor Reviews. Today we're going to be doing a review on this First Aid Plus Survival Kit. I got this from Academy Outdoors. Maybe not everybody has an Academy by you. You can probably get it. Something like it like a Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop Cabela's, Dick's Sporting Goods, somewhere like that. But I did pick this one up from Academy Sports and Outdoors by myself. So you can see right there, it's calling it a First Aid Survival Kit, waterproof, 130 pieces. Now, real quick on the inside, it's in a different language on one side, but on this side, kind of shows you everything that's in the first aid section and what's in the survival section. I have not opened it yet. I've had it for probably about 2 weeks now. Was waiting to get some other videos out of the way, and now we're going to do this. So my thoughts are for this is you got to take it for what it is, right? If you don't have a first aid kit in your vehicle or in your camping bag, your RV, it's usually cheaper if you make your own kit because you know what you want in it or what you need in it. But sometimes these kits aren't bad to buy and throw it in your truck. But I will promise you, if you buy one of these, open it up, go through it, see what's in it, and add the things that you would like to get additionally that you may need for you or your family. I will say that this, for a fairly big kit, was cheap. The time of purchase when I got this, it was $19.98, so $20, under $20. I know they have went up a couple dollars. Academies around me are starting to restock for the spring and summer, so some of their camping gear and things like that have went up in price. So this is now $23 where it was $20. But we're gonna go ahead and go through this. It's 130 pieces. Probably not going to spend a lot of time on what things are because they're kind of, I would imagine, self-explanatory. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the bag. So you can tell it is a waterproof bag. Clip on top. It's got a small little plastic carabiner so you can attach it to something. It rolls over to make sure it makes a good watertight seal. And these aren't going to be in order, guys. This isn't going to be survival stuff, then the first aid stuff. I'm just going to pull things out of the bag and we'll kind of talk about what we see in here. So the first thing that comes out is this. So it's in a nice little zippered pouch. So it says first aid. So I guess we'll kind of jump into just what's in here. And I would imagine this is more like a boo-boo kit kind of thing. So the first thing that comes out is some medical adhesive tape. So almost any first aid kit that you find, that's in there. Then we've got some insect sting relief pads. See that? So far it looks like there was just one, maybe more. You have your alcohol prep pads, which I dropped one, but there's a total of 6. Okay, these are just Band-Aids. Which every kit has a bunch of Band-Aids, but sometimes I'm curious about what kind of Band-Aids they put in. So we've got some, you can't see those, maybe you can't. Those are knuckle bandages. These are super tiny, small bandages. Some of the little tiny round bandages. Quite a few of those in this kit. I would say 12 of those. Some medium-sized bandages. There's quite a few of those. So we're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 of the medium-sized bandages. Oh, it's upside down. There you go. And then there's... These are usually where they go nuts. But it looks like it's about the same. Yeah, 20 of the standard size bandages. So it's hard to see, but they're about that big in the pack. So 20 of the standard bandages. So that's your bandage bag. Looks like these are non-woven gauze swabs, which are 2x2. So they're sealed. So far I've found 2. Oh, then we have some cotton swabs. So looks like there's about 10. So 10 cotton swabs. What else do we have in here? Some alcohol wipes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are actually pretty large alcohol wipes. So most kits have this small little squares. These are a lot bigger. You have those in there. And you have some sterile gauze swabs, which you have the non-woven gauze swabs, and then you have the sterile gauze swabs, which, okay, you can kind of tell the difference. That's more of like a ace bandage looking type, and that's a lot finer weave, so there is a difference in those. Let's see, the non-woven, the sterile, you got 2 of each, or maybe 3. What is this? I don't know. So this is a sterile gauze swab, which is just a lot bigger. This is a 3x3. So that's pretty much everything that you get in this pouch. Like I said, it's more of a dressing kit, more of a boo-boo kit. But, you know, if you're out camping and somebody that, you know, kids or family member, somebody gets a cut, somebody gets a, you know, abrasion, there's plenty of stuff in here to take care of that. Plenty of Band-Aids, plenty of ways to clean wounds, plenty different assortment of sizes. And it's kind of weird, though, that, you know, in a kit like this, you're only thinking one person might get stung by a bee or whatever, but hey, they threw 1 in. I'm not used to that. Usually there's like 4 to 6. We'll set that aside. That's a small first aid kit that's in the bigger kit. What do we have next? Okay, now we have a triangle bandage. This is a 38 by 38 by 54. So you can see little pictures there. You can use it for a sling, wrap a head wound, groin wound, foot wound, and hand wound. So, like I said, just a triangle bandage. It's 38 by 38 by 54. So you get one of those in your kit. So far everything we've seen is first aid. Alright, we're going to have to get into that separate. There's a bunch of stuff in that bag. That looks more like survival stuff. You got an ice pack. It's nice and smashed in the bag, but an instant ice pack. So, good to have. We'll add that to the first aid part. We're going to set that aside. We'll go ahead and do the survival stuff separate, I guess, than for the first aid. All right, we've got another bag of goodies. This looks more like a heavy wound as opposed to a boo-boo, right? Something that's bleeding fairly well. Decent sized cut. So you have a abdominal pad. that's 5 inches by 9 inches. So you don't see a lot of those in kits. So kind of cool that set it in there. Oh, that's neat. You got a sheet of moleskin, which seems to be about 4 by 5 sheet of moleskin for blisters, anything like that on your feet. Moleskin sometimes is critical, and you can't tell, but it's perforated. Man, it's hard to pick it up. But there are perforations in here for like different, they're cut in the different sizes. This piece all right here is just one big piece, and then there's a strip that goes across the top, a small strip there. This looks more like maybe a bunion or a callus type circle. But yeah, either way, I mean, you could just cut it and stick it on you. You know, if you have blisters on the back of your heels from walking or anything like that, I would recommend moleskin in any first aid kit. It's a small piece, but, you know, I would imagine this is a 1 or 2 person kit. Then you've got your little first aid, basic first aid instructions. So, see if they have pictures. Yeah. So, they kind of go over bleeding, eye injuries, spinal injuries, bites and stings, burns and scalds, and chest pain. And then they go into action plans and response, breathing, CPR. So, all right. Hey, not bad to have, because everybody knows, like, if something were to happen and somebody's in pain or somebody's severely hurt, you know, people that do this all the time, the training snaps into place and you're like, oh, I know exactly what to do. But if I were to get hurt and my wife had to jump in to aid, I would at least, you know, like that she had something she could look at and say, okay, well, this is what he has. This is what I need to do. It's just a quick reference. Anytime you get a kit like this, pull it open and look at it. If you're a first aid or, you know, trained in first aid, you're a medic, you know, anything like that, nurse, you already know these things. This is probably going to be irrelevant. But if you're taking your kids out and you were to get hurt, do your kids know what to do? So a little quick pamphlet like this might be beneficial in those circumstances. All right, and we got some cooling gel patches, basically for if you have a strained muscle or something like that. So you got 2 of those. A little cartoon cooling patch. Thumbs up. Yeah. You got a couple of those in there. So you got an elastic bandage. And I think it's got the clips on. Yeah, I can feel them. So it's one. It has one clip on there. So if you get an ankle sprain or something like that, you got a elastic bandage. And this just looks like some gauze. Yeah, it's just elastic gauze bandage. So decent little roll of that. And it shows it if you're wrapping a hand, wrist, elbow, head, foot, or your abdominal area. You see that? Yeah. So, all right. You have some of that in there. So that ends that other little bag that's inside there. All right. I think we're all out of first aid. Hold up. Yeah, we're all out of first aid. Let's go into the survival side of things. So I guess I would like to say this is a 1-person kit. So like a backpacking kit or something like that. Or if you're just giving aid to 1 person or it's a 1-person survival situation. So you have a 50 by 80 poncho, 1 size fits all, unisex. So, hey, high visibility colors. Not only can you use it as a poncho, you can also use it for a signaling device. So I guess that's a good reason to have it in orange and in a first aid / survival kit. And like every other kit, you have your good old Mylar emergency blanket. So So not any different than any of the other ones I've seen. They're all almost basically the same size. They do work. They say it'll reflect back 80+% of your body heat into you. What they don't tell you is if you're sitting on snow or sitting on something cold, whatever you're using, let's put it like this. If you're sitting in snow, your butt's going to get cold regardless of whether you have this blanket or not. But you will start feeling heat reflection back on your chest. If it's snug against your back, like if you have it wrapped around you, if you've cocooned it around you, sometimes these aren't long enough to cover your feet unless you're in like a fetal tuck position. Try to get your feet in there. But typically it's enough to wrap over maybe your head and your shoulders and pull it around you like a blanket. But keep in mind, whatever's touching the cold ground is still going to be cold. Usually if you have it taut on your back, that's going to be colder than where there's area for airspace is what I've typically found out. But anyways, you have one of those in there. So you've got a battery powered, basically a glow stick. Try it out, see if it even has batteries in there. Looks like it has a little lanyard so you can put it around your neck or tie it to something, but yeah, so it's got a flashlight on the end of it. So, all right, so you got a flashlight. It's not super bright, but in the middle of the night, if it's all you had, you could see. There we go. So you've got a blinking marker, so somebody can see you from a ways away. Then you've got your steady, which is red, which will help with your night vision. So if you're map reading or anything like that and you don't want to lose your night vision, red's a good choice. So I think you got high, blinking, steady, off, or blinking, then off. So yeah, it's 8 lumens. So it's not going to be super bright, but I mean, hey. And on the bottom, it has an emergency whistle. Oh, it's sealed, but we're going to break that. I've got to see if it works. And it's my kit, so I'm not doing anything with it. It's probably going to be thrown in a drawer, maybe in a side-by-side or something like that. But there is a whistle. We're going to listen up, see if you can hear it. All right. So it blows. But yeah, we got an emergency whistle. Other than that, it's about it. So, and I probably didn't say it in the beginning. You could probably find this kit in other places. Go back to the bottom of it. You can see that. This is a life gear set. So, flashlight / emergency whistle / battery powered light stick. And this is where it kind of gets interesting because there's a lot of stuff shoved in here. So we're going to pull everything out of this bag and see what we got. And this is more survival. So the first thing I see is you've got a compass. I'm going to take it out of this pack. You know, if you're in a survival situation, I know some people like to leave their stuff packed. But if you're in a survival situation, especially if it's cold, man, you don't want to have to try to get through that. It took me a minute to rip it with my teeth. But you have a compass, and I'm seeing right now north. Yep, north is right. So you can tell it, I mean, it's fairly decent compass. It doesn't seem to be sticking. It keeps going back to true north, so that's a good thing. You've got your directional arrow. It's hard to see it, but there is a directional arrow on there. It's made so you can hook it to your backpack, keychain, hook it onto a belt loop. Looks like it's got a magnifying glass. And I have no fingernails whatsoever, so trying to get this thing out of here, especially if it was cold, I would probably never get a... Let's try this. Aha! It's a trick. Y'all watch that. This does fit in there. So if your hands were cold, stick this in there. It's enough to pop it out. So that'll work. Magnifying glass, which is good if you're trying to get a splinter out of your finger, anything like that, or, you know, possibly if the sun's out, you might be able to use it to start a fire. Also, sometimes you can reflect the light in these things just enough, possibly to signal with. And it's got a thermometer on there. Let's see how real this is. In my house, it is. This is showing 78 degrees. I don't think it's 78 degrees. Oh, no, it's actually showing 70 degrees. So that's about right. And then it's got a whistle, which is not as good as the other whistle, but it works. But you got that in there. You've got some cordage. Looks to be about 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 7-strand cordage. You can see. Maybe about 20 feet, 25 feet. Which will help. You have a survival blanket. You have a poncho. So you kind of, in the right situation, you have a small makeshift shelter with just this stuff right here. Is it ideal? No, but man, it's better than nothing. You've got a plethora of safety pins. They're all the same size, but looks to be about 10 of them. Which anybody knows, you can use these for bandages. You can use it for holding, you know, you break a zipper, pocket rips, or if you need to make a improvised fishing hook. So some people have cut these things down. Some people have cut this part off and just use this. Yeah, you can use it as an improvised fishing hook if you needed it. Along with, if you can see that, one strand of that wire. You can tie it through there. You've got a fishing hook. So, all right. So you've got a way to hunt or get small game or fish if you needed it. You've got a small, super tiny little tea light candle. But you can use tea light candles for a lot of things. One good thing about the emergency reflective blanket is if it does reflect back 80% of heat that your body puts off, if you were to sit down somewhere and put this in between your legs with your knees up to your chest and you were able to light this, you can reflect quite a bit of heat. One thing we haven't seen yet is how do you light this in the survival kit. So we'll see if they got an out for that. And speak of the devil, there's your out. I'll have to try it, but most people know that trying to light a candle with a ferro rod is pretty difficult. You got to get the coating off these things. Golly, there's a lot of it on here. We'll have to scrape that off later and find out if this thing would even toss a spark. These ropes are so small. I know they do it so you don't lose it. But yeah, I'm not too 100% impressed with that. But there is a lot of coating on that. You can see I scraped some of it off. We'll have to work on that to see, because I'm not going to put something in, I'm not going to call this a survival bag if it won't toss a spark. I'm sure it will once we get off the coating, all the coating off. If you want to know if we can get it to toss a spark, send me a comment. I'll answer you. I'll work on it. I'm kind of glad they gave you some metal tweezers. They're probably not the most high dollar tweezers, but they are metal. A lot of the kits have the real cheap plastic ones, and those things just never seem to, they're hard to pull a splinter out. But this is, good set of metal tweezers. So those are in there. And then you got a pair of the smallest medic shears I've ever seen. But will they cut? Let's look at something here. This is a bill. It's folded over several times. So you can see how thick that is and how many pieces of paper that cut through. So it's quite a few. So yeah, they'll definitely cut a pair of jeans or a shirt. Definitely your medical tape, anything that you have in there. They're not the strongest scissors, but man, in a survival situation, just having a pair of scissors, these would work. And especially if you're trying to cut your paracord down to size or anything like that. Cut some of your gauze, elastic bandage. It'll definitely work for that. And that's it, guys. That's to the bottom of the bag. There's nothing else in there. So like I said, this was just a quick review of this Academy Sports and Outdoor first aid plus survival kit and a waterproof bag made by Life Gear. Do me a favor, guys. If you have any comments, let me know. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and click on notifications. So next time we have a video come out, you'll be able to see it when we first introduce it. But this is the first time I've done like a first aid kit. Let me know what you think. I kind of want people to know. You could read this before you buy it, but they're all sealed. So you're like, okay, well, I see all the things in this kit, but are they quality? When they say bandage, it says 10. Are they super tiny micro bandages? Are they decent size? The only way you're going to know for sure, and it says cordage, but what kind of cordage? Well, now we know. It's a paracord type cordage that's got 7 strands inside, so you can use it. It's multifunction. It's got a poncho, but it doesn't say what size. It says fire starter. Well, I'd much rather have a Bic lighter, but hey, this is in there, and we couldn't get it to strike in the video, so we'll have to work on that. It says it's got a candle. It's good to know what size it is. So anyways, I think the kit's good. All in all, it's a good kit to throw in a boat. Like a John boat, if you're going out for a day, you and a buddy, going alligator hunting, fishing, whatever. If you're traveling if you're going somewhere, riding some trails on a 4-wheeler or UTV, if you just want to throw something in your wife's car or in your truck or in your car, it's a good little kit. If you want a kit that just, there's no medicine in here or anything like that, so there doesn't seem to be anything in here that would go out of date. So if you want to throw something like this, if you're a long haul driver, throw it in, your glove compartment or in your center console. If you like to go camping and you do off-roading or RVing, knowing that you have a first aid kit and knowing kind of what's in there, and then you could add stuff, add medicine, add Vaseline, anything like that to the kit. I always would advise that you take the kit out, look at it, see it for what it is, and then add what you think you need. There's plenty of videos of people saying, I bought this kit and this is what I added to make it better. But that's preference. Not everybody's going to say, hey, I need cotton balls and Vaseline. Would I recommend that in this kit? Absolutely. Especially if you're trying to use this to start a fire with this. I think I'd do a lot more better trying to get a spark to light a cotton ball with Vaseline all over it than trying to make sure I hit that small little tiny wick that's on top there. But open the kit up, look at it. There's a lot of stuff in here, 130 pieces. I would say 30 of it's Band-Aids. It's good to know that. But there's a lot of stuff in here, so it covers a lot of bases. If you were stranded, if you in the middle of the night in your car and you were trying to walk back to town or walk to somebody's house to see if they can, let you make a phone call or stay there for the night or stay there until help arrived. It'd be nice to have a flashlight if you didn't have one. It'd be nice to have a whistle in case you were hurt in the woods and, you could sound the whistle. Compass, if you know what direction you're at and what direction you want to go. Knowing what the temperature is doing. As you're walking out there and it starts plummeting with the temperature, that might be time to stop and figure out how you could make this into a shelter. But this beats having nothing at all. So, anyways, appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. And just so everybody knows, we've just hit almost 50 subscribers. We're a small channel. We're just getting started. We want to do something special when we hit 100. So do us a favor, share us with your friends, with your family, people you don't like, people you do like. We just want to get our name out there. We're doing this. I buy all this with my own money. None of this stuff is sent to me. I don't do gear reviews just to do them. I buy them for either it's something I've been looking at and I'm curious about it, but I also want people to know what they get for their money. Is this worth it to you? You don't know when you're in the store looking at this sealed bag going, okay, it's a first aid kit. Okay, these are all the things that's in it. Well, what's in it? What's it look like? What's it made out of? What's the quality? The time that you want to find out what the quality is, or the time that you don't want to find out what the quality is when you're in an emergency and you bust this open for the first time and you pop it open and you have 95 bandages and 57 of these. And then you just realize, man, this isn't going to get me nowhere. So the time to find out is when you first get it. Take it apart, look at it, alter it, improve it to meet you and your family's needs or whatever whatever that may be. All right, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. Appreciate you watching. Love y'all.
That's all, folks.